you so much for having us, Mama Tamir. So kindly just introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Ruth Komboka, Mama Tamir. I'm an autism mom. I'm a mom to a 10-year-old autistic boy. I am a HR, I'm a human resource professional. I work with the county government of Kisii for close to 9 years now. Yeah, so Tamir, I was introduced to autism, of course, by my son. Tamir was born healthy, I believe, because he was born the normal time, but he had jaundice at birth, which was treated by there's a therapy, highlighting something therapy that they put in, and he recovered. Then at around 1 month, I noticed that he had clubfoot. I didn't know, it's actually a friend who came to visit me to see him. Then when she was trying to make him stand, she could see that the legs are bending. And she'd experienced that because she'd had twins who were affected, one of them was affected by that. So she advised me to go see a orthopedic, just to confirm, but it's correctable. So I went, saw an orthopedic, and Tamir was made for those special orthopedic shoes, and he recovered from the clubfoot. Clubfoot is actually curable. So the journey of raising him was quite interesting. Well, he was a chubby, happy baby. Tamir actually spoke when he was around 1 year, 2 months. So we went on well. Then at around 2 years, I noticed that he no longer calls me Mama. He doesn't say bye when I tell him bye. And in my thinking, I thought, probably it's because he's an only child, there's no one to play with him. I should enroll him into a play group. So he went to a daycare, sort of. So he went to a daycare, then we started noticing that he could play alone. He doesn't want his toys to be touched. There's a way he wants to play. There's a way he wants to arrange his stuff. So that raised my eyebrows more. So we went to see a pediatrician who actually who sent us to another pediatrician, who referred us to another pediatrician to just check on Tamir. So my main reason why I had him checked, it's because of the speech delay. I couldn't say it's speech delay, but because he actually spoke. So I thought probably he's regressed, so we needed to awaken the speech. So we were referred to Nairobi Hospital, so an occupational therapist called Dr. Grace. While seeing Dr. Grace, she sent us to auditory center where Tamir was done an auditory test to test if he can hear, because you can think it's speech, but probably he's deaf, so he can't hear what you're doing. Because I could even bang doors.
Like he doesn't really respond.
No, he could respond. When I bang, he could respond, but if you call him, he doesn't turn to look at you. Then he didn't have eye contact. So the auditory test was positive, like he hears, all his ears are okay. We went back to Dr. Grace. That's when I was given the diagnosis of autism. It was a very big, ambiguous, huge word for me. It was my first time hearing autism. I could say I started feeling that there's this sense that you get like prior. When we were doing the auditory test, is it numbing? They had to anesthesia.
Sedate him
before they do the test. So I just found myself crying. I don't know why. I was scared. It's not like I was being put into machines, but there are those things that they're put. So I was just crying. I was thinking, what if there's something wrong with him? I'm not ready for this. So when I was confirmed about the autism diagnosis, I broke. I don't know what I felt, but I just saw some darkness. A good thing is Dr. Grace really counseled me. She spoke to me. She told me I'm not the first. And actually she told me it's manageable, so I'm not alone. It's something that I will manage. I'll have to pick myself up, embrace it, accept, for him to be able to access the treatments. So now that marked the journey, the beginning of our autism journey. So it was back and forth for occupational therapy, then speech therapy. And then now, that was not even the problem. The problem was the stigma. The stigma was bad. You could hear people making comments like, she doesn't like working with her child. She doesn't like showing off her son. Or her son is uncooperative. Because, you know, when he has tantrums, it's crazy. He could just decide and cry, and you don't know what's wrong with him. Then some could even think he's mad because there's a period that he couldn't wear certain clothes, probably because of the material. He was so sensitive to a certain type of material. So he could just, you're somewhere and he just undresses. He just doesn't want those clothes. Then you know you don't know how to explain to everyone to understand that. So they probably thought I'm thinking, they used to think, this boy is brought up in a very bad way, or the mom is not hands-on. So yeah, it was a struggle. I was in denial. I think I fell into depression at some point. I could cry. There's a time you could cry the whole night. I'm sure even the neighbors used to wonder, hey, what's wrong with that boy? And then I could just cry with him. And then I think I was frustrating because we could not communicate. So he was also getting frustrated in the process. And hence the tantrums. So one day I just told myself, you know what, this is my baby. There's no any other better person who can really take care of him than me. So I just need to wake up, do whatever I have to do for him. So I had a friend, then we were so close. She's also my colleague, who the hubby is a medic, a pharmacist, who we could just talk, and she has two boys, so they were really so good with Tamir. They whenever I'm with them and Tamir, I felt like he's safe. They could not, I think they understood, probably because the husband was a medic. They could always encourage me, or come for play dates, So there's a day their school had a class conference or a parents meeting, something where the kids were schooling, and they happened to hear one parent saying they would like to start an autism unit. So she really got interested, wanted to know who was doing this. And she came to me and told me, hey, in my son's school, there's this parent who has an autistic child, and they are really looking into maybe starting a class in the school, so that they can probably integrate, like it's a normal school, but start a class, a unit, so that these kids can play with the regular kids. So she looked for that contact and ensured that she's given me, so I reached out. In reaching out, I found it was James Tatiana, sorry. So we arranged for a meetup. He actually came with other parents. I don't know why, I just felt at home when I saw them, because that was sort of my first group ever to interact with ever since I knew my son is autistic. So we had a meetup, we sat, we spoke, he told me what his vision was. I was told about Tatiana. Like I could connect, I understood him because it's what I was going through. So we thought of starting a unit there, but katikati things, yeah, it was not possible. So that is when we thought of Dazzling. So we spoke, had meetings on and off. Then now we had to actualize. So we started, we had to register a community-based organization for it to start. We gave it a name, then it was registered. Then we started with the parents. Dazzling was actually started by parents who have autistic kids. So that's how Dazzling was born in 2018. Yeah.
So Mama Tamir, what was your experience after, finding this autistic community, parents of autistic children? How was it getting to Dazzling and watching Tamir in Dazzling?
First, our major challenge was finding the right people to care for our kids. That was our major challenge. Finding people who have a passion, finding people who could understand our kids, finding people who could read from the same script as us. So when we started Dazzling, when it started, our main task was to find the right teachers, the right special needs teachers. So we were introduced to a few who, to be honest, were very empathetic, I can say, and very passionate about these kids. And I don't know, God somehow just finds ways to help you. I think God saw that we were in need, and we really needed people who were able to assist. So our first teachers were very good people. They understood us. They were new. They were also new to the field, but they had the knowledge about autism. It was a bit bumpy because it was our first. It was our first in starting a school. So it was not even a school. It was just something that we set up. Yeah, that would bring. And get the services that they should be getting. So the teachers really helped. Then we were advised. We went to KTRH. We were given an occupational therapist. We were advised on what these kids need. They need speech therapy. They need occupational therapy. Some need physio. And then now they're learning. We just didn't want them to just come here and just stay. It's good to come at daycare. We also wanted them to learn. So that's why we brought in teachers. So we started well. We could see the progress was a bit slow. You just want things done quick. But we just soldiered on. There are some parents who fell out in the process because they were not patient enough. But we totally understood because this thing needs patience, 100 patience. So so I can say we started well as a school, and to me, I felt like Dazzling was really, it became a backbone for me. It's a place I could fall back to, because this is a place where my son could be understood. And then there are these other kids. He was not different. Yeah, it's where he could belong.
So Mama Tamir, when was it? When did you start noticing that there were improvements in Tamir, like in speech or other skills?
Tamir is nonverbal, but I'd never want to say it I believe someday he will be verbal because he spoke. So he's nonverbal. So I had to have a meeting with myself and tell myself that maybe Tamil will never speak. So I didn't really put pressure on him to speak. I started looking at these other things that he can do apart from speaking. So I started concentrating on him knowing how to write, knowing to even how to hold a pen, because he didn't. His fingers were a bit weak, so he had to be done some sort of therapy. So I was looking at him knowing how to hold a pen, him knowing how to dress himself, him knowing how to toilet, him knowing how to interact with other kids. Social skills, basically. So I could say he became more calm. He learned these life skills. He could just come and concentrate. He had zero concentration, and you know, without concentration he could never learn. Then he didn't have eye contact. He began looking at me when I'm talking to him. He could at least look at me for like a minute or 2 minutes. So I saw major improvements in him, and I was so encouraged. And somehow I think God was just speaking to me. I mean, you need to keep on doing this. Just push on, push on. So, and then Tamir just became calm. He became very calm. You could tell him trace, he traces, or go shower, he showers, go dress, he dresses. Like, you could see he's eager to learn. Yeah.
Mama Tamir, when did you figure out that it was time for Tamir to be integrated into regular school?
You could. I feel like he was no longer being challenged. Like, he did some things consistently for so long, so I felt he needed new challenges. And so I thought maybe he could go to a regular school so that he can learn from those others, because I felt he's ready. We in Dazzling we sort of protect them so much, so he needed to get out there so that he can see how life is. So that's when I felt like he needs to go to a regular school. I can't call it integration, it's sort of mainstreaming, so that he can learn and see how these other kids operate. That's when was this? 2021? 2020, after COVID. He started this new school. The goodness with this school is, I think the kids are exposed. They really, really love Tamir. They embraced him immediately. They adore Tamir. So he was already comfortable. By the time we were getting there, he was already comfortable. What I know is that kids are not born with segregating. They just fit in so quickly. It has grown-ups who feel like, this child is different, or this one should not associate with this other one. So once I saw the kids were okay with him, I just knew that's the right place for him. So far, so good. Tamir has achieved a lot. Tamir, I could say Tamir is a testimony for me. Like, Tamir is someone I can go sit with in a social place, and he's just okay. They fight with so many things. There are those who can't stand light, there are those who can't stand water. I could tell you that Tamir, there's a time he could not even get close to water. He was so scared of water. But now he can get into a swimming pool. Tamir can even wash his handkerchief. Tamir showers by himself. Tamir brushes his teeth. He feeds himself. He responds. He can hear. He hears everything. And he responds. If you tell him, give me a cup, he'll bring you a cup. Or go do this, he does this. Lately he's been told, write your name. Without being prompted, he writes his name. So to me, that's an achievement. Like, he can be able to operate operate by himself without so much help. So, and that's what I ever and always would want for him, that he can be independent somehow, so that he will support himself in this world if there's no one to watch out for him. Yeah. So the integration has done so much for him, and then he's able to play with kids. He's so social. His social life is 100. And then he loves outdoors. He doesn't like staying in the house. Kitambo, he couldn't stand outside. He used to be indoors playing alone. But now he can play with other kids. He knows how to share. He knows these are little ones, these are my age mates, these are older than me. So I could see, like I can see light at the end of it, and we are getting somewhere. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mama Tamir, for sharing your story. It's inspiring, actually, and I hope it's encouraging for the parents that have autistic children, that it's possible to make progress, and it's possible for these kids to, you know, at least achieve some of the skills that they need to survive outside here. So we appreciate you so much for coming here and for being open about this story.
Thank you. One more thing, what I can say to other parents, it gets better. As they grow, it gets better. The kid will not remain the same 2 years from now, 3 years from now. It gets better as they grow.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.